Welcome, my friends, back to Beyond the Well, where forgotten histories and untold legends awaken. I never expected to find that well, hidden deep in the woods behind my house. But when I touched its sacred water, I saw more than my own reflection. I saw another world. A world shaped by light and shadow, by heroes and tyrants, by choices that still echo through time. Join me as I uncover the stories of Aldarion that lie beyond the well. The Branding, Episode 1, Death of a Hero. The scent of burning wood filled the air, thick with a weight of sorrow. The funeral pyre crackled as the flames consumed what remained of Garrick. Brennar stood among the gathered mourners in Valorash. His fists clenched at his sides, his jaw tight enough to ache. His brother, his hero, was gone. He had always imagined Garrick as unbreakable. He had always been the brave one, the strong one, the light that had never wavered. Yet, here he was, reduced to ash before Brennar's very eyes, and nothing had been done about it. No war, no revenge, no banners were raised in his name. He had been slaughtered in the dark, and the world simply carried on. Brennar barely heard the priest's final words. He barely felt his mother's trembling hand as it grasped his sleeve, or saw his father's bowed head in grief, silent and heavy. He wanted to scream. He wanted to fight. He wanted to tear apart the ones who had done this, to see their blood spill like Garrick's had. He overheard a whisper of conversation drifting through the gathered, two guards speaking in hushed tones. Ashmoore, that's where it happened. That's where the scouts disappeared. Brennar's eyes snapped to them, his fury igniting further. Ashmoore. The name burned into his mind. A figure approached through the flickering torchlight, a man cloaked in a deep gray. One of the hoods, the king's secret order. He stood beside Brennar, watching the fire. Your brother was a good man, the hood said in a low voice. He died in the service to something greater than himself. Brennar exhaled sharply through his nose. Why is no one avenging him? The hood studied him, eyes sharp beneath his cowl. Vengeance isn't our purpose. Justice is. And justice takes patience and strength. He paused, measuring Brennar with a knowing look. You want to fight. I see it in you. Brennar turned fully to him. Oh, I do. The hood nodded. And become strong. The gray cloaks take only those who prove themselves. Your brother did. If you want to follow in his footsteps, earn it. And with that the hood turned and walked into the dark. Brennar's heart pounded. His path had never been more clear. That night, at the small chamber his family had taken in the city, Brennar sat across from his parents. The air was thick with unspoken words. Finally, he broke the silence. I want to stay in Valorash. His mother flinched. His father closed his eyes briefly, as if bracing for a blow. I want to train with the gray cloaks. I'll work, I'll do whatever it takes, but I will not sit by and let this go unanswered. His father shook his head. No. Brennar's stomach twisted. Why? His mother's eyes were already brimming with tears. Because we can't lose you as well. Brennar stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. So you'd rather I do nothing? Would rather you live, she pleaded, reaching for him, but he pulled away. His father's voice, firm but weary, cut through the tension. Your brother made his choice. It wasn't your choice to make. Brennar's hands curled into fists. So that's it. You just accept it. You let his killers walk free. His father's expression darkened. I accept that Garrick chose his path knowing the risks. I accept that losing him is breaking us apart, and I won't send my only other son to the same fate." Brennar turned to his mother, hoping, begging for some understanding, but her face was already streaked with tears, and he knew she couldn't bear it. "Well, I guess there's nothing more to say," he muttered, and shoved past them, storming out into the night. As he stepped into the cold air, a shadow shifted at the edge of the street. A figure beyond the torchlight, watching. Brennar paused, feeling the weight of the stare, but when he turned to get a better look, the figure was gone. The road home was long, but Brennar barely noticed the miles passing beneath his boots. His anger carried him forward, faster than the cart his parents rode in. His every thought was a storm of rage and frustration. By the time they reached their village, his temper had reached its peak. The moment he stepped inside their home, his father tried again to reason with him, but the words only made the anger boil over. "You call this living?" Brennar snapped. "Sitting in this house, doing nothing, knowing that Garrick is dead? Letting his murderers get away with it?" His father's jaw tightened. "You think vengeance will bring him back? I think doing nothing is spitting on his memory." His mother tried to reach for him again. "Please, Brennar. Please, you don't have to." "I do!" His father exhaled slowly. "Patience, my son, patience." Brennar shook his head. "No, I can't sit. I can't wait." He stopped and gazed down at the wooden floor of their home. He had to do something, anything. "Go to the woods, my son. Go and let your heart settle with Aldarion," his father said. Brennar stiffened. He'd never been one to put much stock in the god his parents loved, and especially now the only thing Aldarion had done was to take his brother. But he did feel a pull to get out and away, and space to think. His father quickly added, "But know this, son, anger will eat you alive long before any sword does." His mother extended her shaking hand and pulled him into an embrace. "I love you, my son. Nothing will ever change that. No matter what happens, no matter how far you may be, I will always love you." The words hit him hard. He felt her genuine affection, but his mind was determined to act. He turned to his father, and as he did so, his mother slipped something into his pack unnoticed. A note, something he wouldn't read until much later. Then he turned and left. The forest welcomed him with silence. The afternoon sun was already low in the sky. He figured to move away from the village a good distance and set up camp. He knew his parents intended him to go spend a few days in the wilderness and collect his thoughts. But in his heart, he had very little desire to return. He took a direction towards the capital, Valorash, and walked until the sun had dropped and the first stars began to appear in the inky dark sky. The moon cast long shadows, stretching between the trees like skeletal fingers. He stalked through the underbrush, his fury unresolved, his grief a lead weight in his chest. As he was walking, he saw a tree before him, small and young, its trunk thin but sturdy. Something about that tree caught his attention. He stopped and began to look it over. You need to know that Brennar was big. I mean, massive. He always had been, and now as he looked at that tree, he felt a surge of rage. He gritted his teeth, wrapped his hands around it, and with a roar he tore it from the earth. The roots snapped with a sickening crack and dirt clung to them like blood. He dragged it to a clearing, stripped it of its branches, and pulled out his knife and set to work, carving it into something new. The full moon shined down on him, giving plenty of light as his eyes adjusted. He worked for hours, and his arms burned, his muscles screamed, but he didn't stop. He kept working until his hands held a massive quarterstaff, nearly the size of a lodgepole pine. He swung it once, feeling the weight, the power. It was good. Then from the shadows, beyond the firelight, a voice. "You have strength." Brennar spun, his new quarterstaff at the ready. A man stood at the edge of the clearing, cloaked in darkness, his face barely visible. "I know your pain," the stranger said, stepping closer. His voice was smooth, inviting, like silk draped over steel. "I know what it is like to lose something, to rage against the ones who take and take without consequence." Brennar's grip tightened. "Who are you?" The man smiled and stepped into the moonlight clearing while pushing back the hood of his cloak. "I am someone who can help you." The man's face was pale white in the moonlight. The fire flickered, the wind stirred the leaves, and Brennar listened. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for coming with me beyond the well. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking, following, or subscribing. And if you have a moment, I would love a review. Your feedback truly makes a difference. If you want to dive deeper into the well, visit beyondthewell.net for show notes, transcripts, maps, character descriptions, and much, much more. And until next time, keep seeking, keep dreaming,